The Celtics have struggled as of late, going 5-5 over their last 10 prior to last night's Kings game. They're 13th in offensive rating since the All-Star break and are 14th in defensive rating over that span. To put it bluntly, the team has been average over the past month, a big slip from the team we saw hold the #1 record in the league for most of the season. However, that performance cannot be blamed on Jaylen Brown. He's taken his game to another level since the All-Star break, putting up 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists per game over that span. According to Cleaning the Glass, JB has played 57% of his minutes at small forward this season, meaning he'll likely make All-NBA for the first time in his career. He'll be eligible for a supermax extension, and honestly he deserves it, as he's performing at a similar level to someone like Prime Paul George with the Pacers. He's one of the league's best wings, but doesn't necessarily get enough credit for it. He might sneakily be the Celtics' best player. However, over the last couple days, a lot of comments have come out that seem to cast his Celtics future into doubt. He's been floated publicly in trade rumors for megastars for years now, and it seemingly makes him feel unwanted. Rather than handing him the supermax if he's unhappy, it seems less and less likely that Brown is on the Celtics next season. To truly understand the gravity of this situation, let's take a look at Brown's recent comments, as well as how good he's become as a player, and what this potentially means for the C's going forward. Before we get into Jaylen Brown's fallout with Boston, if you enjoy my content and watched a few videos of mine, think about subscribing. 96% of my viewers are actually not subscribed, so if you watched me before and enjoy the content, drop a sub and comment down below. It really helps the channel. Jaylen Brown was selected with the 3rd overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft by the Boston Celtics. He drew heavy pre-draft comparisons to Jimmy Butler, as he was a somewhat raw two-way player who had a lot of room to grow offensively. The team has been successful his entire time there, finishing at least 500 in every season and winning at least 48 games in 6 of his 7 seasons, including this one. He's created a dynamic duo with Jason Tatum, who was drafted the year after Brown, and the two have had impressive success, culminating with a trip to the finals last season. Brown has improved consistently, going from 7 points per game in his rookie season all the way to 27 points per game this year, which has been the best year of his career so far. He's been forced to be the number 2 option for most of his career due to playing alongside Tatum, but he's shown a lot of number 1 scoring upside this season. He's made 2 All-Star games and honestly should have 3. He'll likely make his first All-NBA team this year at forward, which will make him eligible for a 5-year, $290 million contract. However, with some of his recent comments, it seems as if that may not end up happening, as he seems to be somewhat unhappy in Boston. Now let's get into all the stuff that's come out as of late. The first report was one that came out claiming Brown called both Jason Tatum and Brad Stevens on the phone after seeing his name listed in Kevin Durant trade rumors. Brown said, "KD and JT are friends. They was working out together and whatnot, so I wasn't sure what the energy was. I wasn't sure what the direction of the organization was." From that statement, it feels pretty clear as if JB doesn't necessarily feel secure in Boston, or that they really want him long term. He then was asked about remaining in Boston long term, to which he responded, "I don't know, as long as I'm needed. It's not up to me. We'll see how they feel about me over time, and I feel about them over time. Hopefully, whatever it is, it makes sense. But I will stay where I'm wanted. I will stay where I'm needed and treated correct. I just enjoy the time that you have now. If it's your whole career, it's your whole career. If it's not, it's not. Some of the greatest players of all time haven't finished with their organization. Michael Jordan retired a Wizard." If that statement doesn't make you doubt whether or not JB's future in Boston is uncertain, I don't know what will. Most players say they're committed to their franchise so they don't get pushback, like Kyrie has done multiple times. But Jaylen just said he didn't know, being very blunt with his answer. Honestly, I think it's kind of refreshing to see a player be honest and open. He also was very open about how black athletes are treated in Boston, which has been a talking point for years. He said of certain Celtics fans treating him harshly because he's African American, "It's not the whole Celtic fan base, but it is a part of the fan base that exists within the Celtic nation that is problematic. If you have a bad game, they tie it to your personal character. I definitely think there's a group or an amount within the Celtic nation that is extremely toxic and does not want to see athletes use their platform, or they just want you to play basketball and entertain and go home. And that's a problem to me. On top of all of this, Bill Simmons, who's one of the most prominent Celtics fan media members, out of the blue on his podcast said that Jaylen Brown wasn't going to be on the Celtics next year. He mentioned the fact that if he made All-NBA, he'd be in line for some big money and Boston won't pay it. Seeing some of the recent quotes though, it's definitely more than just about the money. We keep getting more and more rumors like this that are making it seem increasingly unlikely that Brown is on the Celtics after this season. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Especially when it's coming from JB himself, I think this is legit. Especially if the team has a first or second round exit. Now let's talk about what all this means for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown is a legitimate star, having the best season of his career, and I'd say is undoubtedly a top 20 player in the league right now. He also at times has looked like Boston's best player. He's been great all season, but let's look at his production since the All-Star break. He's putting up 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. He's also been extremely efficient, shooting 50% from the field and 38% from 3. His production would be ridiculously hard to replace, and you're likely looking at getting a worse player in return. In terms of suitors, I believe you're looking at one of the teams with massive draft capital, like the Thunder, Jazz, or Pelicans. Maybe you could get a Jalen Williams or Giddey from OKC, a Trey Murphy and picks from New Orleans, or a draft pick-laden deal from the Jazz. No matter what, you're likely getting a player you hope can someday be as good as Jalen or draft capital. Especially with how the team has looked as of late, as well as Horford soon aging out, Brown leaving smells doom for the team. Robert Williams seems to be constantly injured, Marcus Smart is having a down year, and while Jason Tatum is arguably a top 10 player in the league when playing at his best, he can't do it all by himself. It's very rare that you just bounce back and keep playing well after moving a near 30-point scorer, and it's hard to trust the Celtics would remain a contender after moving Brown. Jaylen Brown has developed into an all-NBA level talent with the Boston Celtics, and at times has looked like their best player. However, thanks to a multitude of recent reports, his future with the C's has been cast into doubt. He seemingly feels unwanted by Boston, with his name always being floated in trade rumors for other stars. When asked about remaining in Boston long-term, he responded bluntly, saying simply he didn't know. It's something that players don't usually do. Celtics fans and media are also coming out as of late and saying they wouldn't bet on JB being in a Celtics uniform next season. Some say it's because of the 5-year, $290 million contract he'll be eligible for, but with all the smoke as of late, it feels as if it's about a lot more than just the money. Jaylen Brown's time with the Celtics may be coming to an end. Thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.